show you quickly live pictures of Donald Trump. This is his second rally today, this one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You see it there. A lot of enthusiasm here, as we've been hearing on all sides. Now, in his first rally today in Ohio, Trump put a big emphasis on immigration.
We're building the wall. No, we're building the wall. Don't worry about it. Yep, we've started. We want to do it at one time. Although barbed wire looks like it's going to be very effective, too.
So that's a message, but when you look at the facts and you ask voters, immigration, not the biggest issue for many. NBC finds the top issues for most voters right now are still jobs, the economy, change in Washington, and health care. Pre-existing conditions, a major issue. Republicans have often claimed they're trying to protect them, although they voted to repeal them in Obamacare. And Trump's tax plan, of course, has put a lot of the wealthiest Americans in the best positions. Middle-class taxpayers didn't see much of a difference. So how much will Trump's record on the actual domestic issues that voters say matter to them, how much will that matter tomorrow? Let's get into it with Jason Johnson, politics editor for TheRoot.com, and Madison Gestiato, an attorney and member of the Trump 2020 Campaign Advisory Board. Thanks for both of you for doing this.
Glad to be here.
Good to be with you, Ari.
Madison, briefly, what are the things that middle-class voters have gotten in the last 2 years that you think would make them go red tomorrow?
The one thing that I talk to people across this country about repeatedly when I travel on the campaign trail is the economy. They feel that they've been able to experience quantifiable results that have directly impacted their lives as a result of President Trump's economic policies. Their wages have increased, their taxes have decreased. A lot of them have gotten jobs, and not just any jobs, but good jobs. They're making more money. They've gotten more money back in with the tax cuts. And I mean, they're really happy about this. This is an identifiable result that they didn't feel that they saw under President Obama or President Bush.
Jason?
Yeah, that's not true. So here's what happens with the economy. You get credit for dragging us out of a ditch, right? So if you improve the economy, people remember when things are bad, they give you a lot of credit for it. But once the economy has been good for 2 or 3 years in a row, Americans are very selfish. We start saying we built that, we did that, and we don't really credit politicians with it. There is no reason for Donald Trump to be at a 40% approval rating with an economy this good, except for the fact that Americans don't give him or the Republicans in Congress credit for it. So that's not really something that's been helpful. Even the news last week of the job reports has done nothing as far as his approval level, and nothing as far as helping Republicans on the generic ballot.
One thing that's interesting, Madison, writ large, is that the deficit now is growing under Trump, although Republicans often ran as saying that was a problem under Obama. I spoke with someone I think you know, a sort of a colleague of yours, Anthony Scaramucci, and he conceded under questioning that this is a problem and it is somewhat hypocritical. Take a look. They ran saying deficits were a problem under Obama.
Yes.
Now they're growing the deficit.
Yeah.
Isn't that wrong?
That's wrong, but that's the hypocrisy of the swamp, okay?
Does it hurt Republicans, do you think, tomorrow to have what your colleague there calls the hypocrisy of the swamp, a rising deficit, when they said they were going to do the opposite?
I think the rising deficit hurts both parties. People across this country have been sick of Congress, to be quite honest. They're sick of these people that get to Washington, D.C. They promise at the beginning that they're there to work for us, and they get there and they really don't work for us. They don't do what their constituents want a lot of the times, and we don't see the results. People are supportive of the president, primarily going back to what he said on the economy, and there is direct proof that we are to be thanked for a lot of what's happened. Part of that coming from regulations and the unneeded, unnecessary over-regulation that we saw. When President Barack Obama left office, there was over 99,000 pages in the Federal Register of Regulation.
The question is about the growing deficits.
But I want to respond to what he said.
Right.
And again, I responded to the growing deficit, which I believe both Republicans and Democrats are to blame. And as an American, I'm not happy about it. I think we need to get it down. We need to stop with the overspending. And with what Anthony said, with the swamp in Washington, that's who is to blame for this. This didn't all happen under just President Trump or just President Obama. This has been going on for a long time. Well, they've been taking our money and they've been spending it.
Let me get Jason in on the facts. I just want to make sure viewers are getting the facts. You're entitled to your view of that. But the deficit growth up to $700 billion here is under Trump and a Republican Congress. That's the increase since they took over. Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so, and the deficit doesn't help. It shows the hypocrisy of the Republicans, and Trump was supposed to do something about the swamp. But even most of their economic and tax policies haven't helped. The Republican tax plan hasn't been that beneficial. It hasn't been something that's moved the voters. Look, if you make a good steak, you don't have to wrap it in bacon, right? So the Republicans passed this tax plan, and it doesn't go anywhere. So then you had Trump 2 weeks ago saying, wait, we're working on another tax plan to cut taxes by 10%. Republican economic policies have not trickled down to the level that have made Americans feel like they want Republicans to continue to run the House. They want someone to check this president. So, look, I mean, again, the great economy, I don't think Trump can receive no credit for it, but Obama gets more of the credit for it. And the Republicans in Congress have not been able to demonstrate that they have a better plan when it comes to the economy, a better plan when it comes to health care, and a better plan when it comes to national security. And that's why they're probably going to lose tomorrow.
We're about to go because I have so much in the show tonight. But, Madison, I wanted to show you a new statement from Donald Trump, who, of course, ran on repealing Obamacare and the protection for pre-existing conditions. Some folks are changing their tune, maybe because the election is tomorrow. Take a look.
We took out the individual mandate, but anything we do, we will put in pre-existing conditions. So if it gets terminated, we will put pre-existing conditions back in.
But what if you can't get that done?
I'll get it done. I mean, that's part of the deal. I'll get it done.
I'm curious, Madison, as a Trump supporter, what you think of the fact that he really has obviously changed his tune going into the midterms. Now and he's not the only Republican, but he and other Republicans are pretending they're for protecting pre-existing conditions. Everybody knows, you guys used to brag about it, that they want to repeal all of Obamacare, not some of Obamacare.
Well, I think the president can want to repeal Obamacare, but also protect pre-existing conditions. He understands that the way things are right now, it's not good for Americans. He understands the fact that the individual mandate under Obamacare has not been good for us. It's been expensive, and people don't want that. And so I think we can repeal Obamacare, but we can still protect those that have pre-existing conditions and make sure that we come together as Republicans, as Democrats, and as Americans to make sure that we have a better health care system moving forward.
And Jason, final thought?
Yeah, you got to walk it like you talk it. And people have heard Republicans talking about repealing the Affordable Care Act for 3 years now. No one believes they're going to change their mind and walk that back come Election Day.
Madison, were you expecting Jason to quote Migos?
I was.
You were. You could feel the quaver.
That's exactly what I was expecting, Ari.
You could feel it coming. Look, one thing we don't often get enough of is people from different perspectives talking in the same conversation, not separate ones. And you guys have both forcefully argued your views here on Election Eve. People can listen and make up their own minds. I appreciate both of you, Madison and Jason. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.